Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of RamCenter. As always, I'm Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson. And before we get anything on this episode started, I need to address whatever's going on here.
What?
Can you please tell everybody why your face looks like this?
So unfortunately, my Dukies lost a tough game this past Sunday to Kansas in the Elite Eight. A very tough loss. Gray's gone forever. But yeah, it was a bet with my roommate. If Duke didn't make the Final Four, then he could do whatever he want, and this is what he chose. So yeah, that's what we're rocking. It's gotten mixed reviews. A negative
review.
Good.
A negative review
Immediately.
Here.
But hey, we're still rocking. But other words, we have a great show lined up.
Yeah, it's officially spring sports season. We're moving out of winter into spring sports. A lot of great things happening. Some things that aren't so good, but we'll get to that later.
Hey, but other than that, the weather's heating up. Some of our teams are heating up, and I'm excited to get started.
It's going to be a great episode. It's RamCenter.
And it starts right now.
Time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.
Welcome back. As always, this is RamCenter. I'm Spencer McKercher, James Jackson to my left, and we'll get started. Our women's lax team is hotter than a forest fire right now. Our Lady Rams start the season 7-0 after a dominating 16-3 win over PSAC foe Seton Hill in the Lax for Life game, marking prevention awareness for adolescents and young adults. On the windy Saturday afternoon at Vonnie Gross Field, Sammy Barnett remained red hot with her 5-goal performance and finished with 1 assist. Trisha Broad added a hat trick in the rout, along with goals from Tatum Altman and Alex Wendig. The Lady Rams were once up 16-1 with a few minutes left until the Griffins scored 2 late goals to make it 16-3. In the cage, sophomore Nicole Martins improved to 4-0 in the year after only playing in the first half and registering only 3 saves. Freshman Julianne Clemens played the second half in net and made 5 saves. The Rams forcing 20 turnovers, outshooting Seton Hill 37-14. They won 11 of the first 13 draws to start the game. Our girls have a tough matchup this Wednesday, March 28th, against defending PSAC champ. Jay, do you want to take any guesses who it is?
East Stroudsburg, I'm guessing.
That's right, East Stroudsburg at Vonnie Gross Field at 4 p.m. Now, Jay, it seems like every week we've been talking about our women's lax team and how dominating they have been. Yet another dominating game, but a tough game coming up on Wednesday.
Well, it's good that they got both goaltenders in the last game. We talked about the flexibility at goaltending, right? It doesn't really matter who goes in net because the dominance stays there, and that's due to the play in the net and then also coming on the defensive end, not allowing, only allowing a couple shots on net. Between the two goalkeepers registering 5 saves all game, that means not a lot of shots are coming on net. And also with the offense continuing to flourish. Sammy Barnett, 5 goals. Can't say anything much more about it.
She's been dominating all year. She's been fantastic on and off the field as well. She's going forward, though. When we're out shooting opponents 37-14, that's saying something.
Right.
You know, the outscoring, and that's the thing, only registering 8 saves all game, so that means 6 of those shots weren't even close to net. It's a big difference in shots.
And for the coach to have such great confidence in all these players, it really speaks volumes to how well the team is doing. And you saw the last games they were getting off to slow starts and having to battle back. Exactly. Now we're just coming out the gates firing, and it's so hard to beat us when we're coming out like that.
I'm very interested. This game this coming Wednesday is going to be very, very good. I'm trying to head down there because I want to see this team in person.
Right.
We have yet to see a game in person, but I'm definitely trying to see it, especially against a great East Stroudsburg team.
Well, they're going to start getting into PSAC matches now, and we know that PSAC matches is where it's going to be the hardest competition for this lacrosse team. So we're going to see if we can keep up the intensity on offense, defense, and in the net at all 3 levels. It should be good.
I think we will. I think we'll be fine.
Well, we're going to transition over to our softball team and welcome them back from the beautiful Sunshine State this week, where the Lady Rams participated in the PFX games in Claremont, Florida. Westchester was able to hold their own in the tournament, coming away with a 7-4 record in their time in Florida. The road trip would end with a sour taste, though, as they fell to their final game 2-1 to number 20 Southern New Hampshire. It was the Penmen, what a name by the way, who were able to break out of the gates early, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the first inning. The game remained primarily a pitcher's duel during the middle innings until the 7th inning when Westchester started to make some noise. The Lady Rams battled back in the top of the 7th inning as Kat Hammer led the inning off with a double to left center before Caroline Adams entered as a pinch runner. Adams then later scored on a double to left off the bat of Madison Kelly, which cut the deficit from 2-0 to 2-1. Following this, the Golden Rams had runners on second and third in scoring position with no outs, but they were unable to bring across to extend the game. Starting pitcher Amanda Hawk got the rock to start the game, going 7 strong, allowing just 4 hits and 2 runs while striking out 3 in the process. Westchester returns home for a 4-game homestand this coming week. They will face Shepherd University for a doubleheader on Tuesday. And Spencer, for this 4-game homestand, all doubleheaders, which means they're going to play 8 games in a 4-game stretch.
Right.
So how does that bode for Westchester coming in?
It's been interesting, and we're going to touch base a little bit on the baseball team who this past weekend had doubleheaders on two straight days. It's tough. It's tough to see, and we're going to see from our baseball team, it's tough to do.
Yeah.
It's tough to overcome. I mean, you're playing at 1, and then you're gathering your thoughts, changing up the whole game plan, and then getting back at it for the night game. Mm-hmm. It's definitely tough. I'm interested to see how our softball team handles it.
And we're having an up and down season so far for our softball team, who came in with such high expectations, came in top 20 in the nation. Right. We've since fallen out of the top 25, but we're remaining in the mix. They played a tough national schedule going down to these 2 tournaments. And so far in the season, Westchester has a .318 batting average, 97 RBIs as a team, 10 home runs. So the offense is there, but they're losing a lot of games 3-2, 2-1, 4-3. They're losing these low-scoring, tough games. So hopefully that kind of fixes itself as they get into PSAC play.
And those are the tough games to face. I'd rather, you'd rather have the 9-4 games, or even like the 7-2 games. Well, the fact that we're losing these 3-2 tight games coming down to the wire, that says something about our team. The 3.32 ERA, we're not playing bad pitching and offense. We're not playing bad. We just can't close out these games.
Right, 97 strikeouts to 38 walks total for all pitchers. I will take that any day of the week.
Exactly.
It's just sometimes, things fall where they do. Allowing teams to come out with such hot starts in the first inning digs you a hole that you can't really get out of. And we talked about this last time, where big runs and insurance runs it's hard for them to happen in middle innings.
Right.
They happen in late innings, and sometimes it's too late to battle back from. That's what happened in the last game to Westchester.
And it's tough, but going forward, I think, with the 4-game stretch here, I expect us to do well, especially with some of them being at home. I expect us to do well and finish out strong.
A little bit of parity, because when you get into the PSAC for most other sports, you're getting into one of the best conferences for Division II. Right. For softball, it's really not that case. And coming in on the national schedule, they were holding opponents to a .232 average, a .523 ERA for opponents against Westchester. If they can keep those kind of numbers up going into PSAC play, they can turn the season around, no doubt.
And we're playing tough teams. We're playing great teams, nationally ranked teams, and the fact that we did what we had to do, it says something about this team, especially going forward into PSAC play.
Absolutely. Now, we said that we were transitioning out of winter sports. We have a great in-studio interview coming up.
I can't wait.
Tyler takes it away, and he sits down with 2 stars of the women's basketball team, Portia Speller and Mia Hopkins.
What's up, Rams? Tyler Jefferson here, back in the studio. Feels good to be back. Today with me, I have 2 wonderful women off our ladies basketball team. I have Portia Speller here with me and Mia Hopkins. How y'all feeling today, ladies?
Good.
Good?
Yeah.
Really good.
It feels good to have y'all in here. I've been trying to get members of the women's basketball team in here all season.
Yeah.
So can you just start off by telling me and those watching some basic information about y'all, where y'all from, what y'all studying in school, and why you chose to come to Westchester? We get to start off with you.
Okay. My name is Portia Speller. I'm from Lancaster, PA. My major is communications. I'm a minor in health. I chose Westchester because on my visit, I loved the people, I loved my coaches, the team, and I thought it was a good school, so I thought it would be a good fit for me.
Yeah, that's a very important decision, obviously.
For sure. My name is Mia Hopkins. I'm from Pittston, Pennsylvania. My major is exercise science, and I chose Westchester because I really liked the coaches and the team when I was on my visit as well. Okay.
So these ladies right here have had tremendous seasons and career. I actually had to write down the things they accomplished because it was just too much to remember. Portia here, she throughout the season, 463 points, which landed her 9th in single season history at Westchester. She had a career career mark of 1,035 points, where she's 19 on the all-time scoring list. She's first team all PSAC, and teammate here, Mia, also first team all PSAC. She 450 points, which right behind Mia, 10th on the all-time single season record. 6 all-time on the rebounding list, and you also had a triple-double this season, which is almost a quadruple-double. Can y'all just talk about how y'all were able to accomplish the amazing things y'all did and the effort that it took to accomplish those things?
I think it took a lot of effort. We're seniors, so you don't get another chance, and I think that played a big role in like our success and our team success. Individual success, I feel like it just came naturally because we were so focused on like winning together and just everyone doing what they needed to do. So I think that helped like the individual success we had because we weren't thinking about it.
Y'all weren't thinking about yourself as like the team
Right.
goal. Do you feel the same way as her?
Absolutely. It was a great season.
So, you, Mia, you actually transferred here from Bloomsbury. I read up. This is your first season. Were you nervous about coming into a whole new environment, a whole different area?
I actually transferred twice.
Twice.
Yes, I used to go to Monmouth University in New Jersey.
Okay.
I went there for 2 years. And then I transferred to Bloomsbury. And then I didn't like Bloomsbury, so I came here, of course. And I really like it here. So everyone made it really like easy for me to come in here.
So how do you feel like that had a big reason for you to be able to come in and have a big impact on the team's success?
For sure. They definitely like welcomed me in. I mean, I redshirted last year, so I didn't get to play.
Right.
So I was really just trying to like be the best teammate I could be for them, like get them water and stuff. And then I think that they came back and like did the same for me this year. So
Yeah, probably getting water from them probably didn't seem like a lot, but I'm quite sure it built the cohesion that y'all have together. You been here all 4 years?
Yeah.
Been on the team all 4?
Yeah.
So you're a senior. I'm quite sure the team they look up to you as a leader. How do you feel that you had to lead it? Well, how do you feel like in what ways did you have to lead the team for not only for freshmen coming in but also transfers like Mia? You had to lead by example to show the culture that the team shows.
Yeah. I guess it was a big role. I feel like, well, me and Mia were roommates, so even before the season, we already got to like build chemistry and things like
Right,
that. So we already knew like going into the season that we would have to step up and be leaders and things like that. It's always good for like the younger people on the team to look up to like us and like since we're leading by example and things like that. So
Did y'all know each other previously before coming here, or was it just like y'all just got placed in roommates and?
yeah,
Placed?
I was transferred and they said, oh, we got a house for you to live in. So we became roommates last year when I was a redshirt, and we live together now, just us.
That actually is a great. Actually great leading up to my next question. I want to ask you, ladies, why did you feel like y'all were able to play alongside each other so well to accomplish great things throughout the season? Is it more to it? You feel like just building that basic bond from being roommates. I know that translated well on the court. Yeah. So. So individually, it was a great season, but it was also an historic season for the team. Also accomplished great things. Overall record of 23-6. Number 1 in the PSAC, had an 18-game winning streak. Had a bid in the NCAA tournament, and your coach was also awarded PSAC Coach of the Year. So I just want to congratulate y'all first of all on having a great season.
Thank you.
Individually and collectively. What is one thing that you can point out that led to the success of the team?
A lot of things.
it's a lot of things, but I think mainly team chemistry. I think we all genuinely like each other, like on and off the court. And like as you know, the seasons are long, so if you're not really getting along with your teammates and things like that, then you won't have that much success because you can't win a game with one person.
Definitely.
So you need everyone, I feel like, on the team.
Definitely. How about you?
I would say definitely our chemistry. I mean, no one really had any like problems throughout the entire year, and I feel like we all get along really well, and it definitely showed on the court.
Is there one thing that you can reflect on this season that has bettered you as a person and as a player, and will better prepare you for the future after school? I see you smiling.
So much.
You must
Yes.
have something.
Yeah. I think my big thing was just being the captain you can't do, for instance, like you got to lead by example. You can't, do this because, she did it on the team. Like there's people looking up to you. So I feel like I've grown a lot this season and my teammates know me. So I think being a captain was mine.
I would say just all the ups and downs. I mean, we talked about it in the end. Like, we obviously didn't get the ending that we dreamed of. But
sucks.
for me, I would say this, like, chapter of my life is always going to be with me. And I definitely think that it was definitely about the story for us. In the middle there, it was crazy. It was a good time.
Yeah, I know. Crazy is probably the only word that comes to mind to describe the season. It was very historical, and like you said, I know y'all didn't, obviously, it didn't end how y'all wanted to, but I know y'all are glad that y'all were able to experience it. So y'all both seniors and school is pretty much over. So what's next for you ladies?
We gotta get into the real world.
Yeah.
So I have a couple of things that I want to do with like coaching, thinking about grad school, modeling, and things like that. So that's what's next for me.
She's being modest. She's going to be famous. I'm going to fool you. But for me, I actually go to the Final Four this weekend. I'm going to Combine.
wow.
I'm ready to go overseas. I'm really excited for what the future has, and this was a great chapter to lead me up to that point.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank you for coming out. It was last minute that we got you, and I thank you for working with me with that. And I wish you ladies the best of success in whatever you do after school. Thanks again for coming in. It was
Thanks
nice
for having
meeting you
us.
ladies.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today, Rams. Tyler Jefferson here. See you next week.
What a great interview. Thanks, Ty. You're killing it, man. I'm so proud of you. What a great season with Mia and Portia. I mean, they've had amazing seasons. Our women's basketball team had an amazing season. Very excited to see it come to an end. I'm going to miss seeing both of them play.
Anytime we can get a 1,000-point score and a player who almost had a quadruple-double in one game, they can always bless the RamCenter student. Anytime.
Absolutely. Anytime they want.
Our men's tennis team is off to a struggling start in their 2018 campaign, unfortunately. Our Rams are currently 0-7 and have won a combined 3 matches out of a possible 60. That's alarming, to say the least. And hey, this is not slamming the team, that's just a simple fact. But our last match came against Florida Southern in Lakeland, Florida this past weekend. The men came up short in this match 9-0. In singles, the Rams fell in straight sets in all 6 singles matches. Adam Quartermensch had the most success, however, as he was able to push his opponent to 2 sets, 6-1 and 6-4 before dropping. Our 3 doubles teams also fell in straight sets, bringing the disappointing trip in Lakeland to an end. And I struggled at the last part of that because it's alarming to read that many bad stats about a Westchester team. Is there much to say about it?
Not much to say. Not much to say. We were looking forward because their fall season, they didn't have a bad season.
Right.
They had a pretty good fall season. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. We talked to some of the guys during the lip sync battle, a few weeks ago, and they seemed confident. They seemed like they were ready to go, and I don't know if it's a team chemistry thing. Dude, not much to say.
I mean, there's something going on, but this isn't unfamiliar territory for our men's tennis team. Last year, they went 0-6, didn't register a victory until their 6th game against St. Mary's College. They ended the last season 3-13. No player made the national tournament for singles. No doubles team made the nationals for doubles for Westchester. So it's not surprising, I guess, to say the least, that our men's tennis team is struggling, but hopefully we can get it turned around pretty soon.
I think we will. I don't never have confidence in a Westchester team.
Don't never have confidence.
I think so. I think that's what we're going to go with. But I always have confidence.
Right.
I should say that. I always have confidence in a Westchester Golden Rams team, especially the excellence that we perform on and off the court, field, whatever. I think we'll turn it around.
Something they
eventually.
do have going for them is experience, right?
Right.
Charlie Rushing, very experienced.
Right.
Many of those doubles players, very experienced. So it takes leaders and captains and experienced players to turn a season around and to turn the tide.
Come together and get it done.
That's all it is.
All right, hey, buckle up. We got a long one here. It was a tough weekend for our defending national champions, the baseball team, as they traveled up to PSEC-FO Lock Haven for a Friday-Saturday doubleheader on both days. Game 1 on Friday had yet another huge offensive battle, but the Golden Rams fell short to the Eagles 14-12. Down 12-1 at one point, the Rams battled back to make it 14-12, but eventually fell to that said score. Senior Nick Ward logged a career-high 5 ribbies and 2 deep balls in the loss. On the mound, graduate student Mike Ciopala got saddled with the loss after allowing 12 runs, 10 earned on 12 hits in only 2 2/3 innings. Game 2, much worse for the Rams as they fell 15-1. After having 15 hits in the first game, the Rams offense went ice cold and only had 2 hits in the game, one of them being junior John Hanson's first career home run. Freshman Zach Rice suffered his first loss of the season, and he's now 3-1 after surrendering 12 runs on 8 hits and 4 1/3. After suffering a very uncharacteristic sweep on Friday, Saturday was a bit different for the Golden Rams as they split the doubleheader with Lock Haven, losing Game 1 3-2 and winning Game 2 12-9. A lot of 2s in there. Westchester scored both of their runs on errors by Lock Haven, but couldn't overcome 2 early homers by the Eagles. Justin Horn, Jared Malone, and Christian Bateman all had 2 hits in the game. Scott McKenna suffered the loss after only giving up 2 runs on 8 hits with a season-high 7 Ks in 5 innings. Game 2, though, baby, the Rams finally got back to their normal ways with the duo of Nick Ward and John Hanson combined for 3 home runs and 9 RBIs to propel the Golden Rams past Lock Haven in the nightcap 12-9. Ward launched his 3rd long ball of the weekend in the first and added another in the 6th. The key was a 7-run 5th inning thanks to John Hanson's grand salami to put the Rams in control. With the split, Westchester moves to 11-6 overall behind a 1-3 mark in PSAC action. Westchester's 1-3 record in the series with Lock Haven marks the first time that the Golden Rams have only taken 1 game of a 4-game series since the squad was only able to grab a single victory from Millersville University back in March of 2016. Their next game is this Thursday, March 29th against Chestnut Hill at 3 p.m. at Serpico Stadium here at Westchester. Whoa, we made it through.
Yeah, hey, take a deep breath after
Woo!
that. Yeah, that was a lot.
Man, that was a
good
lot.
one.
But hey, tough. We go up to Lock Haven, who right now is 11-4. They're now 4-1 in the PSAC. We're coming back from Florida, I think having all the confidence in the world after going 5-1 in Florida. We come here and the bats are there, but then they're not. Our pitching is there, and then it's not. It's confusing right now.
Sometimes when you go to national tournaments, you play on neutral fields against teams you never played before,
Right.
and you do well. That it kind of almost brings a false sense of confidence,
Right.
thinking that since we played these other teams who don't know us and beat them handedly, we could take anybody.
Exactly.
But it's so different, especially in the game of baseball, where you play so many games and so many teams at the same time.
Right.
These teams know how to play you,
Right.
so you got to shift your mindset when you come back to play PSAC games and against opponents that you normally play, because they know you. They can game plan for you. They know what you bring to the table as these other teams don't. With that being said, it looked like Westchester is starting to right the ship a little bit. But what's a little alarming, something that we were hanging our hats on for this Westchester baseball team is, they're winning high-scoring games
Right,
now.
right.
Not low-scoring games, which I'd rather win a low-scoring game than a high-scoring game.
Same, especially in baseball.
In baseball, right. But, if I'm going to score 12 runs, that's fine, but I'm not really okay with giving up 9 runs, 8 runs.
14
Yeah,
runs,
14
15
runs.
runs.
Yeah, that's a lot of high-scoring games.
And see, and that's the thing. At the beginning of the season, our preview show with the baseball team, we said it's going to come down to pitching.
Yeah.
And the pitching is there, but it's not all there. I mean, look at the stat from Ciopala. You can't go 2 2/3 and let up 12 runs and 15 hits. That's not acceptable for any Westchester baseball team.
Right.
So going forward, the bats are there. Malone stayed hot. Nick Ward made a name for himself this past weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just going forward, I need a little bit better pitching. I think that's what it comes down to because we know our bats are there. The second game on Friday, I think that was a little bit of a fluke. Only having 2 hits. But going forward, definitely it's got to be all the pressure has to be on our pitching.
And it's got to be a pitching by committee, right? We're going to have to really start utilizing a bullpen. We're going to have to really start utilizing setup men and getting different people on the mound because it doesn't look like our starters are going deep into ball games as they were beginning of the season, going 6 strong, 7 strong. I remember getting 2 2/3, 4 1/3, 5 1/3. Like we're getting short outings, and if we're going to get short outings, that's fine. Prepare a bullpen because when things go south, instead of trying to let the starting pitcher battle through it because it doesn't look like it's happening right now, get someone in there and relief, stop the bleeding.
Exactly. And I think going forward, with PSAC play, we have the Chestnut Hill game, then we have East Stroudsburg and Ship coming up for the following weekend. Going forward, gotta focus mainly on that pitching.
Absolutely. They'll right the ship.
I think so.
And now we send it over to Taylor, who's going to update us on our pro sports this past week. Over to you, Tay.
What's happening, Rams? I'm Taylor Christensen, and this is your Pro Sports Update. The process has finally paid off as the Philadelphia 76ers have clinched their first playoff berth since 2012. While it's been a strong season as a whole, it's been their recent success in March that finally propelled them back to the postseason. So far this month, the Sixers are 10-3 and are currently riding a 6-game winning streak, and the star of the show during this stretch has been none other than Rookie of the Year frontrunner Ben Simmons. During the stretch of March, Simmons has recorded 5 triple-doubles, accounting for half his season total, with games still to play. Simmons has been downright dominant for most of the year, but has brought his game to another level in March, averaging nearly a triple-double with 13 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds a game. Simmons, along with superstar Joel Embiid, have got the Philadelphia faithful feeling thankful for trusting the process, as well as wondering how far this young team can go in the playoffs. The NFL offseason is ramped up with free agency beginning, and teams are doing their best to make splash moves to bolster their rosters for next year. And one team in particular is giving it their all to crawl out of the league's basement. The Cleveland Browns are doing their best to regain relevance after becoming just the second team in NFL history to go 0-16. Cleveland traded picks in the 2018 and 19 drafts to acquire Jarvis Landry, one of the league's most productive receivers, from the Miami Dolphins. Last season, Landry set a new NFL record for most receptions and receiving yards through a player's first 4 seasons. However, the Browns didn't stop there, as they acquired Tyrod Taylor from the Buffalo Bills. Despite a tumultuous tenure in Buffalo, Taylor had still been one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the league and offers Cleveland a great bridge quarterback. And with the Browns still holding the 1st and 4th overall picks in the upcoming draft, they are the early favorites to be crowned champions of the offseason with their new-look offense. Now all we have to do is wait and see if they actually win a few games. That's all from me. Now over to James Jackson with This Day in Sports. Take it away, James.
What's up, Rams? James Jackson here, stepping from behind the desk to give you This Day in Sports. And on this day in sports history in 1973, the UCLA Bruins defeated the Memphis Tigers in the national championship in the NCAA tournament to secure their 7th straight national title under legendary coach John Wooden, a record that surely will stand for many years to come. Bill Walton was the headline of this game as he dropped 44 points and grabbed 13 boards, a dominant game from the Big Redhead. Also on this day in sports history, legendary boxer George Foreman TKO's Ken Norton in a fight that lasted less than 2 rounds to secure his 2nd heavyweight boxing title in Venezuela. It was Foreman's 3rd straight knockout victory en route to 68 career wins by KO. Foreman would end his career with 76 total wins, 1 gold medal, and of course, a grill named after him in his honor. That's all for this day in sports. Now over to Tyler for top plays.
What's up, Rams? Tyler Jefferson here with this week's top plays. Number 5, Dante DiVincenzo comes through with a huge putback in Villanova's Elite 8 game against Texas Tech. DiVincenzo had a great performance to help Nova move until the 2nd Final Four in 3 years. And number 4, LeBron James throws a touchdown-type pass the full length of the court to teammate Jose Calderon for an easy layup. LeBron didn't need no type of wind-up as he was able to grab the rebound and immediately toss the ball for a spot-on, perfect pass. At number 3, Pacers' Miles Turner throws down a monstrous dunk against the New Orleans Pelicans. Turner continues to have a great season as his performance has helped the Pacers clinch a playoff spot. At number 2, in a professional basketball game in Brazil, this game winner may go down in basketball history. The ability to hit the ball perfectly off the rim in order for it to go to the corner, then to be able to retrieve the ball and knock down an unbelievable shot is just amazing. And our number 1 play of the week, for the 2nd straight week in a row, LeBron James appears for the top play with another monstrous dunk on not 1 but 2 Nets defenders. LeBron just continues to show that he will not slow down regardless of how old he is. That concludes this week's top plays. James and Spencer, back to you.
Thanks, Ty, man. Always good to see some top plays out of you, and 5 great plays once again. But hey, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this episode of RamCenter. As always, make sure to follow us on our Twitter pages and our Instagram pages at WCU RamCenter. And never forget to smack that like button on our Facebook page. Again, as always, I'm Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson, laughing at Spencer McKercher's mustache. Stay golden, Dub C. We'll see you again here next week.
Welcome to